What up, nerds? I'm the roleplay gamer, and I like to party. Today I'd like to talk a little bit about Smash and Grab, or SMASH+GRAB as I like to call it, because that's how it's styled. So this is a MOBA, I guess. I've seen it referred to as a MOBA, even though I don't think the Steam page or the website necessarily classifies it as such. The description listed on Steam is as follows. Smash and Grab is an underground competition where gangs of the future battle it out for loot, weapons, and infamy inside a corporate urban dystopia. Assemble your crew and team up with other members to fight, loot, and craft your weaponry to come out on top. Now, before I get into what I think of the game, I'd like to emphasize the fact that this is in early access, and this video is not a review. Think of it as an overview or a first impressions. Also, I believe I'm obligated to tell you that I received a press code from the developers free of charge. But rest assured, this does not color my opinion of the game one way or the other. I can remain objective. Now let's get into it. So it's kind of like Smite-like, and no, I'm not coining a term, Smite-like. I don't want to do that. But, it's sort of along that route, a third-person action MOBA. It does have lanes, it does have heroes, even though, look, in my opinion, I don't think any particular hero is especially memorable, but I do like the sort of general character concept. You got these sort of future punk gangs, and it's all a little bit camp, but that's cool because it's like an organized sport. It's not just it's not meant to be it's a simulation of real street wars. It's all very, very organized and sports-like. So while the heroes themselves, I don't personally find very interesting, what I think is really cool is it's not just the hero. You're playing what I guess is a gang leader, and then you've got gang henchmen and a lieutenant that follow you around. So while you're directly controlling the gang leader, you're kind of playing as a little section of a gang. You've kind of got minions. So there aren't creeps like you would imagine from Dota 2 or something like that, or League of Legends. The creeps are following the heroes around, which I think is a really cool concept. And you can customize your gang, and that actually, it's not just cosmetic. I mean, there are purely cosmetic elements to that. You can just change their appearance, and that's all it does. But you can also, pick which henchmen you've got, which soldiers, I think they call it, and which lieutenant, and that actually gives you a bonus. So while they could have just let you pick perks before a match or something like that, and it would have been, more or less functionally identical, I certainly appreciate in a presentation sense, and I suppose almost a roleplay sense, that those bonuses are in the form of these, creeps, these soldiers and this lieutenant that follow you around. I really like that. And speaking of perks, you can also select actual perks for your individual heroes as you level them up. So if you're into, that sort of progression, they got you covered there too. So one thing, probably the thing that I like most about the game, oddly enough, is the amount of time it takes to play a game. Now, I've just been hitting the quick game, sort of jump into any game queue, and a game I don't think they even reach 15 minutes. It's usually 10, 12 minutes I've seen games last, which I really, really like. One of the reasons that I don't even bother with Dota 2, for example, is because, games run minimum 45 minutes, and I just don't really have that much uninterrupted time. So I really like that I can say, all right, I want to play something competitive for literally 10 minutes, and I can jump into Smash and Grab, and I'm good to go. It's not all hunky-dory though, and keep in mind what I'm about to say. I think it is an entirely subjective matter, but I'm not huge on the combat. For a lot of the time playing it, I was I didn't understand the combat. I wasn't sure if it was unbalanced, or I just didn't get it and I was bad at it. Mad 'cause bad. I'm starting to get a little bit better, but it seems, I just feel like it's a little too easy to get ganged up on. And maybe that's what MOBAs are about. But it's you definitely want to stick together with your other gangs, because just to clarify, you kind of team up with another two gangs. So I think it's 3v3, and you play as like the whole self-contained gang. So it's like multiple gangs teaming up to take on three other gangs. So you definitely want to like stick together. Safety in numbers. It's not necessarily advantageous to say like, let's each take a lane, maybe for the first couple minutes, because you got to go to like shop fronts and loot them to get better weapons for your gang and get cash and whatnot, because the main goal is to reach $50,000 before the other team. So yeah, you do want to stick together, but I've also found that it's kind of hard to do so. And again, this just could be me as a bad player in conjunction with teaming up with other bad players. But it's like whoever teams up first, whoever consolidates their team first is kind of going to steamroll the other team, and there's not much you can do about that. But that being said, most of the games I've won have been because I have personally gone lone wolf and gone after the objective while my other two teammates were being slaughtered by the enemy. And I actually won us the game. And it was, not to toot my own horn, but all me, because I was the only one going after the objective. So I'm not like 100% sure what the game wants you to do. Like, are you meant to raid the enemy or like ignore them and go after the objectives? But then there's no combat. So, take what I say with a grain of salt. I'm just kind of playing devil's advocate with myself here. I'm like the last person to ask when it comes to balance in MOBAs, but just trying to relay my experience, and hopefully you get a better sense of what the game's about as a result. So combat kind of revolves around this rock, paper, scissors mechanic. You've got blocking, evading, you can grab, you can just straight attack, and each one is the counter to another. So I mean, it's not like super shallow. I've of course seen worse combat systems, and the animations are nice enough. It kind of like, I'm reluctant to say this, but the first thing I thought was it's like Arkham style combat but really light, and I don't at all mean that as a negative. It's light in the sense that you don't like spring from enemy to enemy like you do in the Arkham games or in Assassin's Creed or whatever. It's, you've actually got to like walk or run up to the enemy to attack them, but it feels like along those lines. I've seen on the Steam page, for example, other publications have supposedly been quoted saying the combat is seriously impressive. I don't know. Maybe it's subjective. I don't think it's anything special. I don't think it's terrible. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. Entirely possible. Lastly, a quick note on performance here. While I can run it fine at, more or less 60 FPS with my R9 390, which is an AMD card that's roughly equivalent to a GTX 970 for those of you who don't know, it feels like it uses, more GPU power than perhaps it should. I mean, it's not a bad looking game. It looks pretty good, but I don't think it looks that good. And consulting the recommended requirements here, I feel just reinforces that point. Also, looking at user reviews, it seems some people are having some serious performance issues. We're talking like 10 FPS, so just be wary of that. And for those who are interested, as you can see from the footage here, it does seem to fully support 21:9. I haven't come across any issues yet. That's not to say there are none, I just haven't seen any. So to sum up, would I play it again? I think I would. I think I absolutely would. The thing that really gets me as, someone who wants to get into MOBAs but has not been grabbed by any MOBA that currently exists, the thing that really gets me is the short game lengths. Just 10 minutes is so good. I love that. I also really like the concept of controlling, in essence, a small gang and moving them around and upgrading them with weapons and whatnot. It confused me a little bit at first when I get a new weapon and I'd be like, why is it not available? It's because it went to one of my gang members, which, now in retrospect, I think is actually kind of cool. Your heroes do have a set weapon loadout. You can upgrade the weapons, but they're still like melee weapons, range weapons. They don't mix. The heroes do have kind of a class. I really like the customization. So while you are playing as set characters with names and backstories, you can inject a little bit of your own personality in there. My Etch doesn't wear a mask. He wears this kind of backpack. He uses this kind of gang, this and that. It's just, I think it's nice. So there you go, guys. That's Smash and Grab. It's currently in early access, but feels perfectly playable. It's by no means a shell of a game. It's currently got 3 gangs to choose from. Each gang has 3 leaders and 6 lieutenants. One of the gangs is not complete yet. It has 1 leader and 1 lieutenant. I haven't been able to dig up a firm release date for the full game or the extra lieutenants and leaders. However, on the Steam page, they say approximately 6 months from the release of the early access version, which was the 27th of September. There's currently a free weekend going on. Hopefully, that'll still be going on by the time you see this video. Otherwise, it's 15% off until the 18th of October. Otherwise, at full price, it's $19.99 US. Would I recommend it? Yeah, if you're into MOBAs and you want something different, and more importantly, you want something with, quick games, and you really like this style, which, I personally do. I think it's fresh and it's kind of cool. Yeah, give it a go. If you can get into the free weekend and see what it's like, all the better. Would I rave about it? Not really, but maybe I'm not the kind of person to to really rave about any kind of MOBA. But there you go, guys. I hope I've been of some help one way or the other. Thank you very much for watching. Taste the game, be excellent to each other, and I'll see you next time. Roleplay Gamer, out.